Hello and welcome back to Web 2.0 Expo 2010 in San Francisco, and I have with me a very special guest, John McCree with EffectiveUI. Welcome, John. So you've written an entire book on effective user interfaces, and you're also a speaker here at the conference. And I'm still shocked. I mean, the iPhone still shows us what's possible, but most user interfaces are still lousy. And I was wondering if you could just summarize, how you think we could fix that problem. What are the issues, and just kind of give us an overview of what EffectiveUI is about.
Yeah. So the book that I and some other folks at our company EffectiveUI wrote is really about setting up the right environment for software to be successful. We have experience now with well over somewhere between 200 250 projects working for a huge variety of companies in different verticals, Fortune 500 companies, and it's not. We have to succeed, right? It is essential that we succeed. So the book is really about kind of some of the secret sauce that's involved in setting up the right environment for software to succeed. So.
Right. Well, the user interface is all that people actually see when it comes to software, right?
It's really all that they care about, certainly. It takes, of course, a strong empathy and consideration for really the end user, end customer and end user throughout the software design and development process. Mm-hmm. And it takes, I think, that consideration and that focus with all aspects of your organization. Typically a lot of organizations are very siloed, and there's not a ton of communication. So a lot of the book goes into how do you bring together the village, so to speak,
right,
in Oprah speak, and make sure that everybody's on the same page and everybody's kind of pushing towards this singular goal of delivering exceptional software for people to consume.
That's very, very interesting that you say that, because my background in software architecture, and we have this thing called Conway's Law, and that is the way your architecture looks at the end of the day is actually a mirror image of your organization because of the silos you talked about, right?
So true, yeah.
So what do you see as the most effective methods? What are you guys promulgating in terms of breaking down those barriers?
Well, I think there's been a lot of discussion in the industry about, there's a huge movement towards personas. Personas have been really hot for a while now,
right,
building personas to understand users, and we still think that's incredibly valuable and something to use to get people to rally behind. But a lot of things that I think we're really passionate about is becoming an advocate and evangelist for UX within the organization, or turning people into that evangelist, or making evangelists, right? I guess it's almost like Christian evangelism model in a sense. It's
right,
turning people into advocates of UX within an organization,
because they're going to spend all of their working day in these things, right? I mean, it's actually really, really darn important.
That's right, and so I think that the same methods and same models that you use to understand users and to build end user empathy, you can use within your organization to develop a deep empathy within those various siloed departments and the people who are in charge and the people who are working within those siloed departments. I think that there's a lot of organizations that we meet with where we start bringing people together from a lot of different departments, and they may have never met before.
Right.
So I think it's really important to,
even though they probably directly affect each other in some way, or they wouldn't be there.
Always, right? So we think of using the same kind of methods involved with understanding users, using that within an organization to really, again, set up that environment for success.
Fantastic. So one last question. So one of the things I see is when it comes to software today, whether that's on the web or mobile devices or whatever, it seems obvious when I use some of these applications that no one actually sat down with real users and tested these things. Where do you guys come in on things like usability labs and having actual user feedback?
Yeah, well, feedback is a critical component. I think that the traditional waterfall method of design and development is extremely flawed. And we have, we discuss that in the book quite a bit, and some alternative approaches to that. Agile with a capital A is, there's kind of some zealots in that camp as well.
A little too much religion came into that.
Yeah,
it seems
exactly.
Like, right? Yeah.
So I think that the idea of basically of feedback, incorporating continuous feedback loops.
Early and often, right?
Early and often, yeah. The idea of failing early, and failing often too. Basically realigning yourself with the end goal and with the user frequently, and also within your organization, the contexts within your organization, capabilities, constraints, early and often throughout the entire process.
So what do you say to designers and developers who go through that process? They're engaged in the organization, they build that initial prototype, and the users say, this half is great, but this half is no good. Now you got your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that designers and developers don't want to go back and do it over and over again until it's right. They're like, we did that, we're finished.
Right. Well, I think that you can avoid quite a few of those pitfalls if you do research up front. So that does help streamline a little bit of that. But I think that's just...
that's the nature of the game, is about building the right thing, right?
Setting expectation up front that you will be throwing away design, you will be throwing away code. Understanding that, setting the expectation with business stakeholders that some of this is going to change. It's going to change frequently. There's planning everything to the nth degree. We always ask people how many software projects have ended up exactly like you had planned originally, and it never happens. It never happens.
Well, and it just doesn't. So, well, very good. Well, how can people find you online? What's your Twitter handle?
Well, the company is EffectiveUI, and that's EffectiveUI.com. My blog is johnmccree.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at John McCree.
Fantastic. All right, John. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.